there is no end to renouncing. Saints give up their homes and possessions, and say that they have renounced. Many saints look down upon the saying that the rich have greed, and cannot renounce. But after all, even saints draw a line between what to renounce and what to keep. A saint can donate a kidney or another organ, but does he do that? No, because he also has drawn his line between what he wants to renounce, and what he wants to be attached with. But he might not hesitate to boast, "I have renounced everything but you have not." Reminds the story where Buddha cut the flesh from his thigh, and gave it to the jackal that wanted to kill a rabbit for its meal. We all draw lines as per our own wishes and then find that while somebody is wrong as per my drawn line, I am wrong as per somebody else's drawn line. I think somebody as a sinner, and somebody else is thinking me one. After analyzing such attitude of people, a yogi gets into deep thinking about, is there really anything called wrong or sin in this world, or did people, over thousands of years, just make them up for making the world a better society, where people can be forced to live a civilized life by scaring them in the name of sin, or God? Beliefs. Let's talk of some beliefs. Belief A jiva, individual soul, gets only one human birth. Belief B, a jiva gets thousands of human births. Belief A, before getting a human birth a soul passes through millions of births as worms, insects, fish, animals, etc. Belief B, there is no such thing. Belief A, once a soul takes human birth then it never takes animal birth. Belief B, if a human being does extremely wrong karma then the next life is that of an animal. Belief A, a person of right conduct goes to heaven after death, and a person of wrong conduct goes to hell. Belief B, there is no place called heaven or hell. Whatever is, it's right over here. Heaven and hell are the two states of human mind. Belief A, one yoga cycle, Satya Yoga plus Trita Yoga plus Dvapara Yoga plus Kali Yoga, is 4.32 million Earth years, and that is equal to just one day of God. God creates this universe and sustains it for 100 God years, and dissolves it. Then nothing happens for the next 100 God years, and again God creates the universe, and sustains it for 100 God years, and thus the cycle of creation and dissolution goes on. Belief B, these calculations are baseless and meaningless. How interesting. There are millions of beliefs in this world, and there are buyers for all those beliefs. Yet, one laughs at another's beliefs. A Hindu devotee goes to a Hindu temple, and asks the priest there, "Why do you priests always wear ochre or white clothes? I believe God cares about your devotion, and not the color of your dress." In return the priest asked the devotee, "Why do Hindu devotees wear clean washed clothes before visiting a shrine? I am sure you didn't come here today in stale clothes." A Hindu devotee doesn't ask himself why he should wear clean clothes when visiting a temple, but would jolly well ask why a saint should wear only saffron. The same is true with most people. They have their own beliefs, and stick to that, but keep questioning and pointing fingers at others' beliefs. Some people are left-handed, and others are right-handed. It all depends on how we grew up, or could be for a medical reason. Similarly, since our birth, physical birth in this life, we learned some things, followed them and started accepting them. That's what makes us believe in that stuff, and anything contradicting those beliefs, or not in agreement to those beliefs, become wrong for us. But then there are other people who have believed in a different set of beliefs, and they think that other people are wrong. Thus, in general most people end up believing, my beliefs are right, and all other beliefs are wrong. Meditation is the only way to find out what's right or wrong. And in meditation we don't get answer as to what's right or wrong, but we hear a question: why do you want to know what's right or wrong in God's creation? If we learn to find happiness and peace in the right that we follow, then we need not worry about the so-called wrong that others follow. And if we do not find peace in what we do, then we should change our way. Plants turn towards sunlight. Fire moves in the direction of wind. People who do spiritual practices will naturally start following the right things and only the right things. Why do you believe in what you believe? We all have an idea how big the planet Earth is. It takes one entire day for the Earth to make one rotation at its speed. 7 billion people and billions of vehicles moving around the globe look like just a few ants crawling on a ball when looked at Earth from space. If that big is the Earth, then we can imagine how big the planet Jupiter would be, which is 5 times of the size of Earth. Sun is about 100 times as big as Earth and 93 million miles away. Now that gives us an idea how enormous our solar system is, with such huge planets, trillions and trillions of stars, and never-ending space. But amazingly, there is another system in which we live in, and that's many times bigger than the gigantic solar system. That colossal system is our belief system.
Earth is huge. Jupiter is 5 times the size of Earth. Sun is 100 times the size of Earth, and 93 million miles away. So, imagine how big our solar system is. But amazingly, there is another system in which we live in, and that's many times bigger than the gigantic solar system. That colossal system is our belief system.
Our belief system works on our conscience and faith and never on any logic. Even if it has any logic, then it's one's own logic, and not any universally accepted phenomenon. In this message I would like to share a couple of instances I had which made me think on why we believe in what we believe. Devotees of Sri Ramakrishna believe that his birth was not same like any ordinary child is born. His was a divine birth. Any book on his life would have the following story. Once, before Sri Ramakrishna's birth, his father Khudiram was on his way to a pilgrimage when he slept under a tree for some rest. He got a dream. In his dream, God told him that an avatar would be born as his, Khudiram's, son. At the same time, Khudiram's wife, Chandramani, got a divine vision in which she saw a bright light all around, and then she felt as something entered her body. She fell unconscious. When she regained consciousness, she realized that she was carrying. When Khudiram returned from the pilgrimage, both discussed their experiences, and were convinced that an avatar was arriving as their child. It may be noted that Sri Ramakrishna had siblings who were born as any ordinary child is born, and thus there is no claim of Chandramani being a virgin mother. How many people would believe in the above story? Once I asked a friend of mine if he believed that Sri Ramakrishna's birth was a divine birth, and not as a result of his parents' intercourse. My friend, who hails from India, and knows well about Sri Ramakrishna, replied, "I don't even believe in the divine birth of Jesus in spite of all stories about his virgin mother. Then how can I believe in Sri Ramakrishna's birth story? I just heard for the first time today from you." After that I asked quite a few of my friends if they believed, and most of them did not. Let me share with you one more incident. I was on a plane, and it had started descending for landing. The lady in my next seat suddenly turned towards me and asked, "What's your religion?" I replied, "I follow a little of several religions." Not very satisfied with the answer, she rephrased it, "What was your religion at birth?" "Hindu," I answered. "Would you like to convert to a different religion and worship Jehovah?" she asked. "How would that help me?" I curiously asked. She was so happy that I was taking interest. Well, if you convert and worship only Jehovah, then it would be most certain that you would go to heaven after your death, and meet your departed loved ones, and all those who follow you, and you will live there in heaven with your loved ones forever thereafter. Wow! I could see the confidence in her eyes and words. How sure she was in the belief of her definition of heaven. It was time to get off the plane, so she handed over a brochure about what she spoke to me and left. From her smile I could make out that she was so glad that she had just handed over to me a visa to heaven. To me, heaven is not any place, it's the state of mind. Every day we spend some time in heaven or hell depending on our karma. When we spend happy moments of our lives, we are already in heaven for that moment, and when we repent on our deeds and suffer from agony, we are already in hell for that time. Thus we all have our own beliefs about heaven, hell, karma, reincarnation, God, sin, etc. We are so confident about our definitions that hardly anything in the world can shake our beliefs. However, it might always remain a secret why we believe in what we believe. Summary: be in present. Let go the past, don't plan too much for the future, live in the present moment. Differences and arguments in relationships are all based on individuals' perception and beliefs. Again, these perceptions and beliefs are results of past experiences and future assumptions. It's waste of efforts to indulge in debates that are based on such factors like perceptions and beliefs. So, avoid those, and live happily in the now.
Be in present the practice.
6 enemies of a person are lust, anger, avarice, blind attachment, vanity, and jealousy. Gymnosophist, naked sage, Dandamus had told Alexander the Great, during the latter's invasion in India, even if you conquer the entire world, if you haven't conquered your anger, then you have conquered nothing. You are halfway through reading this book now. You know that your true nature is divine. You also know that in essence whatever lies outside of you is also within you in spirit. And, finally, you also know that all disagreements between anybody and you are just difference in perception between the two of you. So, why be angry on anybody? 2 beautiful proverbs. In India there are 2 beautiful proverbs, which I am explaining below. There are multiple interpretations, but I am going to tell you the interpretations in light of our topic, let go your anger. Proverb 1: Subak kab hula shamkayokar e to use bolanahikid. Literal translation is, if a person who lost his way in the morning finds the correct road in the evening to come home, he should not be blamed as forgetful. However, proverbially it is used in situations to indicate that correcting yourself or your course of action at any stage is to be welcomed, and the person's mistake should be excused. Proverb 2: Rate gai bait gai. Literal translation is, night is gone, what was talked at night is also gone. However, proverbially it means, as the time passed, the matter also ended. In other words, if you were angry with anybody at night, then please let go the anger latest by the next morning. Similarly, if you were angry with anybody in the morning, then please drop the anger latest by the evening. Practice dropping the anger within 12 hours at the latest. Slowly you will develop the attitude of not getting angry at all. Anger is the result of something that happened in the past, or something we foresee for future. If you start living in the present moment, then there will be no anger. How should you react?
World is very big, and the ground is full of rocks and thorns. You cannot cover the entire ground with leather and walk on it, but you can wear leather shoes and walk unhurt on the thorny ground. When you can't cover the ground of entire world with leather, You can wear leather shoes and serve the same purpose. Similarly, you will not be able to change the world, but you can certainly change yourself. Serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Ignore the people who are trying to rate you or pass judgments. Listen to this story.
Story: Crow, Fish, and Vultures.
A crow was flying, and many vultures were flying behind the crow. Wherever the crow flew, the vultures flew after it. The crow went left, right, up, and down, but the vultures were after it. There was a fish in the crow's beak. Suddenly the fish dropped from the crow's beak, and all the vultures went after the falling fish. The crow realized that the vultures were not after it, crow, but the fish. In your case, you are the crow. Those who are rating you and passing judgment are the vultures. And the topic on what they and you are debating is the fish. Drop the discussion, fish, and they will not come after you anymore. Ignore all that they say. Do not respond. They will speak some more, and then stop once they do not get your response. You will feel bad about their comments if you believe you are body, mind, intellect, BMI. You will not feel bad when you will consider yourself to be consciousness and not BMI. Assume you are standing in sun, and your shadow is on the ground. Now if an elephant steps on your shadow, will you feel the pain? Will you be hurt? No, because you are not your shadow. You and your shadow are two distinct entities. Similarly, look at your BMI as distinct from yourself, consciousness. Bad comments by others will hurt the ego of your mind. But you are not your mind. You are consciousness. So ignore everything in the world that takes you away from your goal. Problem is something you can see when you take your eyes away from your goal. Stick to your goal of knowing God, your higher self. If you don't take your eyes away from your goal, then you will never be able to see any problem. Problem is something you can see only when you take your eyes away from your goal. In any other area of study such as medicine, physics, mathematics, etc., we can quietly accept a proven theory, and based on that prove anybody right or wrong. However, that's not possible in the area of spiritual studies. What's God? What's the secret of creation? How did all this begin? What's dharma, righteousness, and what's adharma, unrighteousness? What's virtue, and what's sin? And all such questions. Most of us know answers to all these questions. How? Somebody told us, or we read somewhere. If we read, then that was written by somebody. To make long story short, our answers to all those questions come from somebody's words, spoken or written, and then either we accept that fully, or add our own interpretation to that. The point is, I might have read authors A, B, and C.S. books, and out of my life's experience I know something about spirituality. You might have read authors P, Q, and R.S. books, and out of your life's experiences you know something else about spirituality. We can only share our knowledge with each other. We cannot prove ourselves right or others wrong. This is because we have all understood only a small portion of spirituality. and mostly none will understand the whole of it, till the end of infinity. Make peace with your past so that it won't disturb your present.
It is beautifully said, past is history, future is mystery, but today is gift. That is why it is called present. So, do not spoil your today thinking or talking about your past, or worrying about future. Today you cannot be happy in the past or future, today you can be happy only in the present moment. So, be happy come what may. Remember that, happiness is a habit, you can make it, develop it, and live with it all your life. Before bedtime, revisit, be in present. Just before retiring for the day, spend 5 minutes just with yourself. Ask yourself if you lived as yourself, simple, and in the present moment throughout the day. If you lived your real nature, simple, and in the now the entire day, you must have felt happy the entire day. If you felt unhappy any time in the last 24 hours, then make an affirmation that the same will not repeat in the next 24 hours. Take away from yourself the option of choosing between living in past or future and living in present. Just live in the present. Have faith in this book. Read it as many times needed until you find out that you have started living your true divine nature, simple life, and in the present, full of happiness. Be yourself, simple, in present, and be happy. Balance your life. Be a married monk.
Chapter 6. Be positive. Let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little, and if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick, and if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So let us all be thankful. Buddha. You become what you believe. Hence, it's imperative that you should think only positive. In 1999 I had read The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. I started practicing the author's advice in my daily life, and I benefited enormously. While I was already convinced about the power of positive thinking, in 2006, the DVD on Rhonda Byrne's The Secret made another huge positive impact in my life. Today there are millions of followers of The Secret. The secret behind The Secret is that whatever you think about or believe in, you attract that into your life. The law of attraction works for me, and I know it worked for millions. If you think negative, you attract negative into your life. So why do you want to think anything negative? Earlier in this book I have talked about thoughts in details. With that Vedanta knowledge on thought, you should now be able to control your thoughts, your mind. This book also talks on meditation in detail. Use meditation techniques to control your mind so that you can always stay positive. If you believe that there is no power of positive thinking, then again, it's time for you to acquire more of Vedanta knowledge. In relationships, learn to accept, forgive, and love unconditionally. If you are finding it difficult to be simple, or be in the present, or be positive even after reading the Vedanta wisdom shared in this book, I would suggest you find a spiritual guru. Guru-disciple relationship is millenniums-old tradition. Unfortunately, in current day and age people are reluctant to accept somebody as one's guru. If you are uncomfortable in making a living person your spiritual guru, then there is at least one good option: make a departed yogi your guru, and strictly follow his teachings. There are hundreds of such gurus, if not thousands. Pumehenesa Yogananda, the author of famous Autobiography of a Yogi, is one such example. His teachings are spread by the organization called Yagoda Satsanga Society, YSS, in India, and Self-Realization Fellowship, SRF, outside of India. However, if you would like to make a living yogi your guru, then you will find everything you need to know about a guru in the remaining portion of this chapter. Caution: you might find an overdose of oration on spiritual guru in this chapter, so, as mentioned in the very beginning of this book, please skip a page or two when you feel overdosed. But, if you manage to digest the entire chapter, you might be interested in finding a spiritual guru and getting initiated. Spiritual initiation, called Diksha, in Sanskrit, is the second birth of the person taking the initiation. Most common type of initiation is Mantra Diksha, where the spiritual guru gives a mantra to the disciple. With that the disciple gets three things: Guru Mantra, Guru, and Paranguru, where Paranguru is the avatar, whose teachings are the spiritual path that is followed in this entire process. If you seriously follow the path, then the trio, Guru Mantra, Guru, and Paranguru, will always protect you, and finally liberate you. Spiritual Guru.
The Sanskrit word, guru, is the combination of two words, gu and aryu. Gu means darkness and aryu means the act of removal. Thus a guru is one who removes darkness, ignorance, from the minds of his disciples. A question often arises in an aspirant's mind whether one needs a spiritual guru to live a spiritual life. Generally speaking, there are four types of gurus: Shiksha Guru, Vidya Guru, Diksha Guru, and Jagat Guru. Shiksha Guru gives academic or secular knowledge. Vidya Guru teaches scriptures. Diksha Guru initiates his disciple, and Jagat Guru is an avatar such as Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, et al. Shiksha Guru, Vidya Guru, and Diksha Guru show a way. Jagat Guru is the way. How about the past of a guru? A person approaches a spiritual teacher to make the teacher his guru when the person fully trusts that the spiritual teacher would be able to dispel the darkness of ignorance of his mind. At that point it doesn't matter what was the past of his would-be guru. What is the past of a person? Our past is not just the time between our birth and now. Our past also includes our previous lives. Do we know what a person was in his last life? How does it matter what was the past of a person while making him our guru? All that matters is the trust that that person, guru, will remove the ignorance from your mind. Gautama Buddha was a prince. His name was Siddhartha. His wife was Yasodhara, and their son was Rahul. Siddhartha later became enlightened, and is known as Buddha to the world today. Buddha is known today by that name, and not as Siddhartha, and nobody cares about his earlier life as a prince. The world only cares about his spiritual teachings, which he shared after his enlightenment. Can men who had vices earlier be a guru? Gaining enlightenment is not an event. Enlightenment is the state of awareness of our true nature, which is always divine. Most of us know that our true nature is divine, but still we do not realize it fully. When we start realizing in true sense that we are not this body, mind, or intellect, BMI, but pure consciousness, we will know of our being enlightened. When our senses and thoughts will not control us, consciousness, but we, consciousness, will control our senses and thoughts, then we will know of our being enlightened. Desire of being, desireless is also a desire. When we go beyond a state of desire and desirelessness, we will know of our being enlightened. Do people have right to judge a guru? Whatever a person does, he does out of his free will. Every person has free will to attempt to do whatever he wills. Whether he will succeed or fail in achieving what he wants is not in his control. Right from attempting to kill an ant to kill the greatest public personality of the country, every person has free will. But whether the ant or the public figure will die or not is not in the hands of the attempter. Knowing that, yes, every person can pass judgment on anybody, including a guru. Whether the guru would accept the insult or ignore it is not in the hands of the attacker, person passing judgment.
Don't compare your life with anybody's. You have no idea what that person might have gone through. And it's completely wrong to judge the person without knowing his or her helplessness.